What's going on, guys? We're back with another video today. Today's video is going to be about packaging and how I package things here at my warehouse. I already packaged one item today as a printer, and I got some other kind of odd items to package and ship today. So I kind of want to show you guys tips and tricks and ways I do things, and maybe you'll learn something from it. But the next item we're packaging up is going to be this metal detector. I actually got this at the trunk sale. You guys remember this from the last video. I think I paid $3 or $5 for it, so I got it really cheap. This thing sold for $150. This is a good brand to look for with metal detectors. Whites. They make several different models of these. This one's called the Coin Master, and it's like brand new. You could break this thing apart in the middle. I had this 30 by 12 by 12 box laying down. This thing's gonna sit down in there, and the box is probably gonna end up being 30 by 12 by 6. We're gonna cut it down as much as we can, but I'll show you guys how we package this item. First thing you're gonna wanna do is pad the bottom, because we don't want it bouncing around in there. So we got some loose paper here. So I'll fluff this up, put it in the bottom of the box. I'm gonna take this part of the metal detector, put it in first. Then I'm going to put some more padding down so this item is not directly rubbing against that item when they're in transit. So now we got a buffer between that and we're ready to put the next piece in. So we're going to take the other part of our metal detector. Next thing we're going to do is fill all the voided space with bubble wrap, any loose fill packaging, newspaper, anything you have to work with. The idea is you don't want your item to move around in the box. When you shake your box, you don't want to feel movement. You want everything to be nice and secure. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is grab your knife and then resize your box. But this box actually already is pre-ready to be cut down. It has every 2 inches, you could see it's scored a little bit. So we're gonna cut it down to one of those lines. Now the last thing you wanna do is grab your tape, tape it up really good. There you have it. Metal detector, packaged very well. 30 by 12 by 6 inch box. Shake it, no movement. And this is an item that a lot of people would pass up. I made over $100 on this sale. The next item we got is another kind of big, large, fragile item. This is an old projector in the box. You guys remember this from my last video, the haul video from the trunk sale. I only paid $10 for this. It sold for $130 free shipping. So we'll make a lot of money off of this. We just want to package it properly. First thing I'm going to do is open this up because everything's inside the box. We have our projector on the bottom, and we have our slide thing on the top, and there is a divider in there. So we're going to put as much packaging stuff inside this original case as we can, and then we're going to box it up and put a lot more packaging material around it to protect everything. Okay, now we have all of our packaging inside of there, and now we're just ready to package this box. So we're gonna measure it. We need a box that's about 16 by 16 by 9. So I'll go locate that box. The closest box we had was 20 by 15 by 9, but that will work. So I always like to put some bubble wrap down on the bottom. I always like my item to be sitting on a padding, because if it gets tossed around and everything, you at least want some kind of cushion underneath the item. Even though this thing is packaged well inside this case, I'm still gonna put a bubble wrap base down every time. The next thing I'm gonna do, like I always say, we don't want this thing sliding around left and right in here. And we have about 2 inches on each side. So we're gonna go ahead and fill all that space with loose fill or bubble wrap or air cushions, whatever you have to work with, but anything to keep the item still and stationary inside the box. Also, it's going to protect the sides from getting damaged bouncing around with other boxes. So now we have this thing very well packed in here. It's surrounded on all sides, like it's not gonna move around. We got bubble wrap on the bottom. Normally I would put a protective layer of bubble wrap on top, but due to the height of this box, we can't put bubble wrap and have it closed properly. So I think it's good enough to go. So we're gonna go ahead and close her up. And now there's an open void here, and if somebody opens this with a sharp object, it could slide in and cut that leather because of the way I packaged it. So what I'm gonna do is I always keep loose cardboard over here. If there's ever a case like this where I feel like somebody could accidentally cut the item with a knife, I'm gonna put a little piece of cardboard over that middle section, so if they slice through with a knife, they have that cardboard barrier between the item and the knife blade. So I always keep loose random cardboard like this around. This will work perfect. It's just a little buffer. So we'll put that down so they don't accidentally cut the top of it. So we'll tape her up. So I use a lot of recycled boxes, and this particular box has some labels on it. I want to cover up these labels before I put on my label. It just looks tacky for one, but it's definitely a good deed to reuse and recycle as many boxes as you can so they don't end up in our landfill. But I keep special tape around, not special tape. I keep purple eBay tape and brown packaging tape around for this reason. Anytime I want to cover up these old labels, I'll either use purple eBay tape because it covers well, but they don't sell it anymore. It's really hard to get. So I just keep the rolls I have laying around for that one purpose. I only use it to cover up labels. And then I'm going to go ahead and do that so we don't have any confusion why this thing's moving through the mail. Okay, now that's ready to go. Like I said, there's no movement in there. Very well packaged, safe and secure. So I'm sure you guys remember this from the trunk sale video. This was one of my favorite finds that day. I started the auction at $99, 24 bids. This thing sold for $202.50 plus shipping. I only paid $15 for it at that trunk sale. New with tags, 1995. Sea-Doo Racing Team. Awesome piece. So this is the next item we're going to want to package up. So we're going to measure it first so we know what size box to look for. So I keep these like small garbage bags around. I have like 1,000 of them, but they're perfect for an item like this that you don't want to get scratched up, or you kind of want to preserve it in the box. So the first thing I'm going to do is put it inside this bag. It's basically like a big shopping bag. So I'll put that in there to protect it. Tie that up. Then we're going to put our bubble wrap base down at the bottom, like I said about the last item. I'm just going to simply drop the helmet in the box, and we're going to package all around it so it's safe and secure and it's not going to bounce around in there. Okay, so now we got this thing packaged in here pretty well. This particular item, we have about 2 inches of space at the top. I don't want to fill that up with a bunch of newspaper, because every cubic inch could potentially cost you more when it comes to shipping. So anytime you can resize a box and make the dimensions a little bit smaller, you definitely want to do that. So now you'll get to see this box resizer tool in action. And like I said, everybody needs one of these. Now you don't want to resize the box too low, so what I'm going to do is take my pencil, put it on the top of the item, or my pen, put it on top of the item, and I'm going to like mark the box at the high point. That way I'm not guessing, and I don't, because I have tried to do that before and I've actually made the boxes a little too low, and then you have that hump on the top of your box because the top of the box is pressing down on the item. So we want to avoid that. So we basically have to put this thing on the lowest setting, which will drop the box down about 2 more inches. So this thing scores the box on all 4 sides. You're going to want to take your knife, cut down the sides, like we did on that other box. But this time we made our own score marks because this one doesn't have them. Now once you do that, you just fold in the sides. There's a little bit of movement, so I'm going to put a little layer of newspaper at the top. That way there's no movement inside the box. And we're going to tape her up. As you can see, I like to use a little bit more tape than I necessarily need to. I buy tape in bulk at auctions and wherever I can get my hands on it. I also have an eBay subscription, so I get a quarterly coupon. I don't know if you guys know about that, but if you have an eBay subscription, every 3 months they'll give you a coupon to shop in the eBay supply store. But I think you have to have a basic store or higher. If you have a starter store, you probably won't get that perk. And if you're wondering, I have a premium store right now. I did have an anchor store at one time, but I downgraded to a premium store because right now I only have about 700 listings. What made me change was I used to have well over 1,000 listings, but I trimmed a lot of the fat down. Right now I have about 700 listings, so I kind of went to quality over quantity, and my sales have doubled since I've done that. So quality over quantity, remember that. Just like this helmet, $200 helmet, great find. But see, that's well packaged. There's no movement in the box. I put a bunch of extra stuff in there. I didn't even have to. It is a helmet, so I feel like it's gonna get there safe, even if it was poorly packed. But it's sold for $200. Obviously, it's new old stock from 1995, so we want to make sure it gets to the buyer in the condition that it leaves here in. All right, I saved the best item for last. Most people wouldn't even dream of picking up something like this just because out of fear. But I'm going to teach you guys how to ship this extra fragile item today. So we're going to measure it and see what size box we need. First thing you want to do is always take out this pendulum, right? If it's hanging, you don't want it flopping around, and you don't want this attached unless this item is hanging on the wall, unless this clock is hanging on the wall. Oftentimes we'll have a clock key as well. So what we're going to do is package these items individually safely. We're going to fill this void with bubble wrap. I'm going to close the top, and then I'll tell you guys what to do next. So the first thing I'm going to do for added protection is like cut out pieces of cardboard to cover the glass pieces. So we have this round glass clock face. This door opens up, so I want to make sure that it's secure. And then I'm going to put the piece of cardboard over that. I cut a piece of cardboard for this little door on the bottom, so I'm going to put that over that. Then I'm going to wrap this thing in bubble wrap very securely. So that's the next step. All right. Okay, we have the item packaged safely secure in the bubble wrap. What I'll do is I'll like double layer it this way and then wrap it around. And then I'll wrap it around this way at each spot. So now it's safe and secure. We have the cardboard under there for added protection. We pack the inside with bubble wrap. So this thing is good to go in the box. So we're gonna make our box. We're gonna line the bottom with bubble wrap. We're gonna set this in there, and then we're gonna pack all around it with airbags and more bubble wrap, and then just make sure it's safe and secure in the box. So that's what we're gonna do next. Now we're going to lay this in here on our little bubble wrap bed. Then we're going to securely pack around it and then close her up. And we're also going to resize this box like we did with the last couple. Take this Resizer Tool, loosen this up, which allows you to like pick what size you want. Slide it down to the line we did on the box. Tighten up the little knob there. Okay, we have the box scored. Take our knife. Okay, so now we're gonna fold these down. There's a good chance that these flaps are gonna be too long. Nope, worked out perfect. Look at that. All right. So usually when I have these extra long flaps, I'll tape down the bottom one first. And there you go. High-end, fragile cloth, well packaged. I put a lot of airbags in there. If you order stuff from Amazon or if you order stuff online, you're inevitably going to get a bunch of airbags and things like that you can use for free. If you know anybody that works at like a doctor's office or a dentist's office, they get a lot of stuff like that. So there again, just reach out to your friends and family. So I have a few other smaller items to ship, but those things are basically no-brainers. We all kind of know how to ship the smaller items, and I don't want this video to run too long. But I hope you guys learned something from this video. I'll probably do some more videos like this in the future when I'm packaging up weird stuff, because sometimes I sell guitars, keyboards, snow skis, water skis, you name it. I've packaged and shipped it. I've shipped out industrial supplies, kitchen equipment that was well over 150 pounds. I've shipped stuff on pallets. I've had to use dollies to get some boxes into the packaging supplies. I've never let the size of an item hold me back if there's huge profits involved. It's basically one of those things like I accept this challenge, and whenever the item sells, I try to figure out how I'm going to package the item. If I do have something that's large and awkward and I list the item on eBay, I put 3-day handling on it. That way it gives me ample time to maybe go source a box somewhere that I need. It gives me a few days to get my stuff in order and get the item shipped out. So remember that if you buy these large awkward items and you're not really good at shipping them, give yourself a couple days, 2 or 3 days, so you're not really stressing about it. And you can buy moving boxes at Lowe's, Home Depot, and Walmart. They have sizes from small to extra large. And those boxes, you can pretty much package up any large item unless it's like abundantly large. Those items we do try to avoid because anything over 70 inches combined dimensions is going to give you a massive surcharge. So keep that in mind. But there's a lot of good items you could source that are medium to large, and don't pass those items up, guys. Don't leave profits for the next person to come along and get them just because you're scared. Do things that scare you. This is a risky business. You're running a resale business. There's always going to be risk. You want to mitigate that risk. You don't want to pay $50 for an extra large item that's going to sell for $100, but you do want to pay $50 for an extra large item that's going to sell for $250, just because the potential profit is so great that you would almost be hurting yourself by passing up on that item. And a lot of times, if let's say it's a latte maker or something, if that item's $250 and the person's asking $50, I guarantee you that item for parts is worth $50 to $100. So the worst case scenario is if you buy this high-end latte maker and you find out it doesn't work, you're gonna get your money back. So you gotta think of it like that. A lot of things you could sell for parts for good money. But I don't want to ramble on too long about this. I could talk all day about eBay, but I'll wait till the next video to share some more information with you guys. Appreciate you watching. If you haven't subscribed, do that. I'm starting to get back onto Amazon a little bit more, and I'm starting the process basically from scratch. So I plan on making an Amazon video soon to kind of keep you guys in the loop with what I'm doing there. And I appreciate you guys for watching, and thanks again. Later.